Alright, you all. We got our Namor Season 8.5 guide. Everything up to date. An advanced guide is what it's really going to be. Excited to get into it with you all. So, to give credentials to start off, in Season 8 I hit 168th best Namor. I never checked the scoreboard after that, so I might have gone up a little, might have gone down a little, but I also hit top 3.4% for that season as well. So I'm gonna give you all everything I know for this video. So to start out, we'll do his base kit real quick. I know this is an advanced guide, but might as well. So you got his primary fire. Obviously, you can two-shot with it. If you hit headshots, then you have his secondary fire. The secondary fire is the one that's worth talking about a little more, because when I started Namor, I really didn't completely know when to use it over primary. So, first of all, if you didn't know, when you throw a squid, shoots at a normal rate, hit your charged, and then they start going all crazy. You get ramped up from a charged spear. So, aside from the fact that it does that for your squids, which is the easiest value, you know, it's very more reliable than charging up your squids hitting a headshot. If you didn't know that too, your fire rate goes up when you hit a headshot with your primary, and I think that like power goes up when you hit a secondary. But yeah, aside from all that, your secondary also does splash damage. I think that is probably the most important thing to differentiate here, is the splash damage. So when you're high up above people, it's going to be very easy to hit on the ground near them. If you want to pre-fire into things, perfect for that. Someone jumping through a portal, coming around a corner, if you're holding a corner and you just want to charge it, it's not that long of a cooldown, but it is very good. And then probably the last thing I would say with it is use it as a tool to increase your overall fire rate. What I mean by that is this is much faster than this. If it'll spawn. It doesn't seem like it because they're both very quick, but one is much faster than the other. You can almost have your charged spear following, or damn near getting there at the same time as your first shot. I think it does have faster travel speed, if I'm not mistaken. It looks like it. So you got that with your two spears. Oh yeah, last thing that I guess is very important with the spears in general. Get a tank down here. It'll show what we need to better. Okay, so let's say I watch my cooldown when I do this. Let's say I throw both my squids. Now look at my cooldown with squids coming back. Each hit reduces that cooldown of my next squids that I get. And they even buffed it in Season 8.5, so it's fairly strong right now. It's awesome. With that being said, you know, you hear a lot in this game, especially for certain characters, don't sit main and shoot tank, you know? Don't just farm tank, you're beating their support ults, blah, blah, blah. I don't need to completely get into it. What I will say, however, there's a couple different play styles with Namor. You got flank Namor, who's going and hitting off angles and clearing backline, but then he's also very good into neutral and just sitting in main with his team and farming for a second, depending on what he needs to do. Sometimes if he has this ult, sometimes if he has the Hela team up. But with that being said, with the squid cooldown, tanks are your best friend for reducing that cooldown. You know, unless you're just Himothy, it's just so easy to hit your shots. I don't know why I'm shooting at this one. I'm trying to demonstrate what I'm saying. I shouldn't be shooting at that other bot. But especially if you're trying to reduce the cooldown and just hit all the shots you can with the new buff, tanks all day long. Now, which tanks are the best for Namor to shoot at, to kill, and to reduce the cooldown and just to damage in general? What I will say, I think tanks like Thing, even Venom a little bit, but really Thing, Thor. Who else are? Oh, Penny. Those are the best tanks for you to sit and farm your cooldown reduction on your squids and stuff like that. Farm ultimate too. Even Devil Dino for sure. I shouldn't have left Devil out. One thing I will say as well, this dude right here, this is kind of a little niche tip. If you ever see this guy on the opposite team and you can play Namor well, do it. The reason I say that is not only, if you really wanted to, could you farm your squid cooldown from the body shots, but the most important thing, I don't think these Lokis are even noticing that I'm doing. Lokis will fuel you. So, why? Because you have 3 targets sitting out, 2 of them which are not moving, that you can get free headshots on to ramp up your squids. And even this, you know, you can always get that if you're decent, that shot on someone. But all the headshots, I mean, I have my squids in perma headshot mode when I'm playing against the Loki. So keep that in mind. It carries more weight than you think, knowing that. But yeah, those are the good tanks to shoot at. Who else about like him going against people? Okay, so Namor, when he traditionally came out, and for most of his time being, you know, he's obviously in the anti-dive character. Although I will go into some of his flanking potential in a little bit, but yeah, he's anti-dive. If you want to play him textbook. So he's good against any of the divers. In particular, like the most squiggly divers is where he's good, where everyone would be missing their shots. You know, especially if you're playing GM or below. But on certain people like Magic, he's so good into Cap, Spider-Man. Excuse me. Yeah, Magic, Spider-Man, Panther. Any of those kind of people. Ultron, he's going to be amazing into all the flyers. 100%. I like to use my Charge Spear for them too. But yeah, those are the people he's good at. They're really squiggly like that. But let's talk about flanking a little bit too. So how I see it, it's for whatever reason, especially on the push maps, either one of the push-styled game modes, at the beginning of each round for those, I would say he's really good at flanking on defense and offense on a lot of those maps. You really want to wait. It's kind of like, almost like you're playing Panther when you flank with him. Quite honestly, there's a lot of waiting involved in letting the team come through, and I'll show some clips at the end that are good examples of this, because I know it might be hard to visualize in here, but you let the team come through while you use your third person and hug a wall, and you want the last people to come through to be the healers, and you squid. Immediately when you go from squid, you want to go right into that secondary spear, because you're guaranteed to hit it, get your squids ramped up, and then you're shooting them from behind, and then hopefully, you know, you hit another headshot or just start smoking them with your primary. And then if you have the Hela team up, even better. Spam it all. Squid, secondary, Hela team up. I'm telling you. And then, obviously, it can be risky doing that sometimes, especially if you don't get like a huge value, huge trade, huge wipe or something. But luckily, you have the survivability to hopefully come back to your team. And at a little lower of an elo, it's so much less reliable that they'll be able to heal you to come back into them. That's what it's all about after the flank. Because it looks ridiculous as some of the positionings I'll show you all later at the end of this. But I'll mix them in here, honestly. But it's all really about communication, if you can have it, with your healers for when that's going to happen. So when I'm coming through, and the team's right below me, and I'm coming through in that, I need to call up, I'm up high in the air, you know, they're gonna look to see where you are with your cooldown, and you're coming back through. You gotta very detailedly, like, describe how you're coming back detailedly, how you're coming back through, because sometimes they're just not ready to look up like that. I don't know. That's just from my experience. You can get heals. I don't know. I'm talking about this part too long. But, yeah. You get it. What else do we got? Yeah. I kind of forget how to do this sometimes. Let me see.
More foes to conquer.
Guess I can just cut and edit this at one point anyways, but... Okay, team up ability. Yeah, I might as well put it on the show.
You need not fear if you do not oppose.
Okay.
We have hidden in the depths long enough. Now is the time to strike.
So, like I was saying, let's imagine this is a Loki we're flanking. And no, this will be a good time to get into some squid placement. So, I'm coming around. He doesn't see me. Squid. Secondary. Look how fast that is. With me doing nothing else but that. Okay. So, when you have time, when you have a lot of time to plan and set up, whether it's attacking or defending, you're full health, and you have both squids especially, it's a great time to really plan ahead of where your squids are going to be. A lot of people, and a good place to put them is high up, makes them have to look away from you or their teammates, like if they're healers and stuff, puts them in a bad situation. You want them to turn around to somewhere where pressure's not going to be applied. Like, sometimes I would even want to, you know, put it somewhere and then come a different way so that he's getting hit from two angles. But the thing that's really interesting, because I've had people comment on some of my videos, is everyone thinks that you need to have perfect squid placement all the time. And that could not be further from the truth. And it'll make sense once I really explain it. So yeah, like I was saying, it's really good to have them turn around. It makes them less likely to get shot and get more value when you have time to set them up. But sometimes, when you are in such a heavy fight, I can promise you, look at the difference of this. So look at if I go squid placement to here. Look at how much time that took me to get my reticle off of him versus this. And if I'm just farming, I just keep throwing out. You can literally just throw them right in front of you, spam them, just kind of near you, stand in front of them if eventually after you do get them down to kind of body block them when they're in a more vulnerable spot like that. But if I can keep my fire rate up and not move my reticle and increase that uptime with my primary fire that I'm getting with the squids, it can be worth the gamble. Especially, what are you waiting for to find a good squid setup or not to waste it when, say, your team has just gotten a pick and it's a 65, they've lost a lot of mitigation, and you know that they're about to have to just back up. Their main focus, they might be shooting a little bit to back up, but like they don't have time to deal with these two new squids while your team's pushing them while they're retreating and you want to go get the finish. It's just, don't get in your head about what people are going to think about your squid placements and that they have to be perfect all the time. That's kind of the bottom line with that. And guess what? If they are easy ones and they shoot them kind of early, there's value in that. There's value in them, even if they didn't have to move their reticle far to get them sometimes. Just them having to take care of them a little bit. Now, you can, you know, if you're going against a Squirrel Girl or someone who's going to be getting them with a lot of accidental damage, you'll think about that kind of stuff. Definitely. One little tip that's like, you know, obviously you should just be a noob and not do this, but I won't lie. I've had it happen a decent amount, is the payload will void your squids. I use my shift ability. With your ultimate, you can see it right here. You have 2 levels of damage. You can see that center circle and outer circle. Outer circle will always knock someone down no matter who they are, and obviously do damage to them. But the center circle, I'll go get it again. I should have just turned cooldowns off. The center circle will kill anything that is not a tank through any support ult. And that's really where the value comes in. We're talking Luna ults, Cloak ults, if you can get good at predicting them and when to do it. Invis ults. Invis ults, I swear to God, because of where they're really all going to be and how much of the invis ult that center circle takes up. And sometimes you can even hit them with the outer ring in it and someone else hits them with something else. And you get them, what I would say for the invis ult, for any of these healer ults, that is where this comes in play for sure. Hold on, I messed it up. But hitting your Hela ult. For the healer ults, that's where your Hela cooldown comes into play. Get these off. Yeah. For the healer ults, that's really where your Hela team up comes into play. Just to be extra safe, hit them with a... And you'll get a lot of kills inside of invis ults and lots of things that you can just kind of gamble on. Let's talk about an ability that will bring you from noob Namor, no skill that everyone talks about, to clutch high IQ. So this shift ability is amazing. It can take infinite amount of damage without breaking. It is just on a timed cooldown. You can move up and down with it and just everywhere. And why that is important is you need to be using this. Not all the time does it make sense, but to be blocking, let's think. To be blocking Punisher ult, you can use it and get in a way where you sit right in front of his face, move down a little bit, and just block his ult from the team. You could even do that same thing with Star-Lord. Those ones are a little less effective than the ones I'm about to talk about too. You could do it to Hela. You can do it on a Spider-Man ult if you can get down there and absorb some damage. You kind of go up first, and you're usually higher than he is, but you can lower down and go right on top of him and surround him. Block a decent amount. Really could maybe theoretically do a strange ult. Alright, but either way, the ones that I find really important is you can save your team from Wanda ults very easily, way easier than you would think. Scarlet Witch ults, but the one that I succeed the most, where I will tank the whole ultimate, is Magneto. You can find a Magneto at a good time where you all both have ults, and you just play, you kind of play up with them. So, to be ready for it. And when he goes up, he's going to go straight up from where he is, and you're right here. You need to just get right on, you need to wait a little bit, let him go up for 1 second, and I know it's always variable with that ult because it gets charged based on damage and stuff, but wait a little bit and then go up and keep your shift ability, the ball, right on his mag ult. Honestly, now that I think about it, yeah, they need to do, I bet at a high level you could do that and give comms to your team that you're going to do that, and they could shoot it and charge it up where he has to throw it at your thing. Or else it would just break how it does. But yeah, think of all ways to get creative with that shift ability for reasons like that. Also, it's not just survivability, it is to get to places for sure, high ground, wherever. It's really good to just go up and throw sneaky squid spots that like they wouldn't expect. Like, to have to look up there is kind of insane. Like, you know, they just won't expect that all the time. Same with Rocket's double jump that you get from the BRB. Don't sleep on getting creative with that. And then on top of that, I slept on this a lot too much when I started him for a bit, but this little flutter, slow fall. You can hit a lot of flanks and get a lot of places you couldn't without that. It's especially good when you go up and you're looking at you, then you kind of just drift unpredictably, try to get some shots, you know. Yeah, don't sleep on it. Other than that, I think that's all we got, really. Alright, y'all, that's all I got for you today. Hope you all enjoyed this and found this at least a little bit helpful. If you got any questions, don't hesitate to ask in the comments, or hit me up on stream sometime. Appreciate it. Really appreciate a like and a follow. Thank you. Have a good one.